Lichis family. I just saw the connection.
Cheers, folks.
Between sound.
It's 9 in the morning, and I'm listening to myself on the radio.
A deeper understanding of life in general. They were just always mixed.
Just a second now. I just wanted to see how it starts.
You should know that we talk about suicide in our conversation today. More after this break.
So, I will, when there was not a link, it wasn't on the website yet. When I made the last video, I wanted to try to get that white colored. Oh well. Anyway, it's Sunday morning, the 14th, is it, of August, and cheers. I'm excited, and hello, Dereck. No, leave me alone, my God. I almost feel like starting over, but I'm just going to keep going. Okay, it's just, what happens is what happens. Played Pet Fest with Dave Nance mowed sound last night, and so I'm a little sore. It was really fun. Pet Fest was really awesome, and I want to applaud, if folks see this from BFF Omaha and Pet Fest. I was really impressed with the entire organization. I was also very, very impressed with the inclusivity. There was a strong Afro-punk presence there on the bill, as well as just the look. And this is a first for me to see in Omaha. And I just loved it, okay? What else? Yeah, one of the bands that played from Lincoln, one of the members of the band came up afterwards because I thought they were really good. First Things First, they were called, and said, yeah, I played a gig opening for you in New York. I said, what? Wow. And it's like, wow. Then he reminded me, because, he played with all kinds of people. And he was in a different band, and man, he remembered the club. I forget it now, but that was pretty cool too. Okay, so
condition.
So I'll listen to the show, and it's an hour long, and this is kind of I'm honored to be being presented during basically primetime morning hour here in Omaha. I like that, and we'll just pleased about that, okay? Because it's just the way it goes. I picked up some more records yesterday before I went to Pet Fest, and I'll show you what I got. And regarding my opinion, I will say exactly what I'm thinking. I've been on both sides of the fence, so I know what it's like to be called crap, and I know what it's like to be called great. So I, handle it. I'll speak my opinion. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, I know what it's like to have people say your music is crap. So I know what it's like. So I can take it. So I knew it was time to get this. The new Boris. Love that cover. It's just a simple thing, leopard print that we've seen a million times, and yet it's just really effective here. It also fits this album. Boris is an acquired taste, okay? They're not just one thing. They'll take you all the way from heavy rock to drone to pure noise to even shoegaze. And I just love them. And the thing that won me over, to just let it be known, is I've seen them twice. And when I saw them, I got the gold vinyl. Of course, they put their records out in multiple editions for those people who are fans of that. But when I saw them live, I was hooked. That's something else I want to say about music, and I've said it before. In a live situation, my gate is open, and I can appreciate people's artistry, especially live. And I'm talking about stuff that maybe I wouldn't listen to at home. But live, it's like you're there experiencing what's going down. And that's different. Like, for example, yesterday at Pet Fest, out of all the bands I saw, there was only one. I was there most of the day. I only saw one band where I had to get up and go because they were so unready. Okay? Now, see, I'm discerning, but again, it's also my opinion, so I'm not concerned. I can have my opinion.
Higgins.
So here we go. He's getting started with the conversation here. Let's just see how it starts here.
Something has to happen inside of me. A like for music to kind of present itself to me. Now, that's something else that I learned from old school musicians.
Cool, yeah, so
some spiritual people. Music.
I'll check this out later, and I'll put the link, because like I said, it'll be online. I can tell that he's edited already. I really enjoyed the conversation with him, I did, and he asked some rather probing questions, and that was fun. Okay. It was. Okay, so where was I? Whatever I was saying, that thought is gone, Big deal. So the other thing that when I went to get the Boris, because I knew that Homer's had gotten it in, they'd gotten in another copy of this. I thought I'd missed out on this. This is Boris's other new album from earlier this year, W. And this is a whole different... Oh, I didn't even tell you what I thought. This is heavy, and I like it. And they use horns on this, and I'm thinking, this really works. Boris with a horn section. It works. And they're using a different drummer because the drummer was originally the singer. So on this album, it sounds like he's mainly singing. It's really wild, and it's really good. I'm really amazed at people like Boris and also King Gizzard, who seem to have an endless bucket of ideas to dip into. So this one is a whole different affair. It's very atmospheric and almost shoegaze, but not. Just really, ooh, I was really wow. Boris is quite an interesting... I love that painting, too. Isn't that cool? Beautiful painting. So, these two new Boris albums in my collection do not disappoint. But just to make them a point, about someone having a problem with me having an opinion and saying some music is crap, well, some music is crap. Like, for example... Boris have this album that is some people really like called Smile, and to me I just still can't penetrate it, and it comes off to me like, yeah, this is kind of crap, and I'm using the word because it's like, I'm just telling you what I think. It's that simple. No big deal. Jeez. While I was down there, I got 3 used records at Grapefruit. Actually, I'd gone there. I knew I'd missed it, but I tried anyway. They had their update on Friday, and they showed an album by an old psych band called The Hook. And I missed it. I should have, if I really wanted it, I would have gotten up and gone and got it, but it was gone. But they had some stuff in the used, because they usually get some very interesting stuff. And so I got this. Sunn with Ulver. Terrestrials. I like both bands. Seen Sunn live. It was just like they say, watch out, because they'll make your body vibrate to the point that, you might have bodily functions. This is beautiful. It's that marriage of the sonic, total sonics, and then the almost classical thing going on with the Ulver sound. This is really good. Very good. I'm always happy to find anything by Caetano Veloso. I haven't even dived into this yet, except for the opening title track, Outras, Palavras. is his music, but it's also his spirit as a person that really comes through strong in the sound and timbre of his voice, as well as the music. Caetano's music has been developing from the beginning. He's got a bunch of records. I've only got a few. But there's a lot of variety, and the music is very important. It's not just a backdrop. It's very important. Caetano Veloso, to me, is just a stunning artist. Stunning, one of my favorites. Absolutely. I'm just checking in again.
In some ways, looking back, it feels quite eclectic. Was there a moment in your childhood when you actually had that conscious realization that music was interwoven not only in your life, but in who you are?
Oh, yeah.
Probably would be a series of realizations.
Yeah, so see, it was a good conversation, so I'll leave the link. I'll actually be looking forward to listening to it all the way through myself. And the last album I got in the used was a group, I understand, based out of Mexico that I did not know about. Los Lichis, Lichis, Los Lichis. This is a wonderful discovery for me. Mike at the shop knew about this, and I try to know about stuff like this, and I did not know anything about this. This was some kind of collective of artists who end up. They start out doing multimedia and then end up doing a lot of just improvisational music and sound. But this is really quite good, and this is a reissue of the album, which came out limited originally in Mexico, and this is limited edition. As you see, I have number 250. I've only listened to one of the two albums a bit because I was so busy yesterday, but my first impression was this is just what I like to explore, and I can hear in what's going on that it's about that moment of the experience of making that music, that sound. So, getting ready for the show yesterday, I pulled out one of Dave Nance's recent album, Staunch Honey. We played July Sunrise off of this. And I just really like Dave. He is so unpretentious. He's a young man, but he's a country boy from the middle of Nebraska. And I met his parents, and they did a good job of raising this young man. He is just a really decent guy. I'm really excited. I can't announce it yet because he doesn't feel like he needs to announce it yet. But he got a deal for the record that we recorded in February. This one came out on the Trouble in Mind label, but the new one's coming out on a different label. I'm very happy, very excited. Friday night, I just needed to chill and played this for the first time in ages. Genesis Wind and Wuthering. I love this album. When I posted it online, it was really interesting to see how many people said this is their favorite Genesis album. And I can see it. This is just a wonderful album. Steve Hackett really shines on here. And my personal opinion is it's really a shame. To me, it's always been a shame that in the history of this band, Tony Banks, who I highly respect and love, was so closely guarded the keys to the castle, that that's why Steve left, was because he wasn't able to get enough of his material on the records. It was like it was kind of unfair, and so I kind of understand that. Steve Hackett's fantastic. So, speaking of Dagmar Krause, Secret Flowers made a mention, and then it caused me to play this to remind myself of the song The Secret. Slapp Happy, Acnalbasac Noom is the name of the album, one of the names. And I agree with what his assessment is, that it's a pop song. It could have been a pop hit. Love this album, and I love her voice on there. Last thing I'll show is this album that I got from the label L'Amour out of Sweden. And this is a project, Gavle-Stockholm Dub. Number 42 out of 100. This was fantastic. Electronic, moving slowly, developing, enveloping, really wonderful timbres, really good, really, real good. It's like, it's so good, it's like the thing that, it's like, I'm sure that other folks who like this sort of thing, like Tangerine Dream, Eno, and stuff like that, if you heard this, you'd really like this. Look for the name, in the description under the video to find the record. I encourage it.
Life in general, they were just always mixed. Another thing that enters into this.
So that's pretty cool to me,
I went
to be on the radio.
Prep. All boys.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm talking
and it's
about.
also Jesuit, but I come from a background.
I'm there talking about my experience at Creighton Prep with the old boys' private school, and and getting first-hand experience with, the horrid nature of white privilege that we are dealing with historically all over the world, which has led up to this whole debacle with who, and I will talk about it because it's a travesty, Man. It's a travesty. It's a mental health crisis, to have this cult figure who actually made it into the presidency, and now look at the mess afterwards. The absolute madness of his cretinous followers. I'll say exactly how I feel. And no amount of gaslighting will stop me, because that's what it is. It's just more of that, what's wrong with these people? Why are they so messed up? Why are they so full of, I don't know what to call it. It's not love, and there's no objectivity there. It's one of the biggest creeps of a person to become so powerful and to have all these people out of their minds to the point that they lose their lives for that jerk. One more thing, I was playing this the other day, Fear of a Blank Planet, and I pulled it and played it. When you get stuff and it's like special editions and stuff, sometimes, you get it and it just sits, but it's like, play it, I love this album, and it's still addictive to me. It's like, when I get started listening to this, I pretty much have to hear the whole album. I really like it. And, yeah. So, looking forward to hearing from Richard eventually. Dave Anderson is the next person I'm waiting to hear back from on scheduling. The guy who was in Amandul 2, Groundhogs, Hawkwind, owned. I think the studio might still be going. A studio in Wales where literally everyone of interest has recorded there, including Porcupine Tree. Supposed to be hearing from him tomorrow about scheduling a talk. I hope you folks are doing okay. I'm okay, and I'm really okay with who I am and how I operate. And I'll tell you what, I don't go out in public much, but when I do, like, for example, at Pet Fest yesterday, I am blown away at how I'm regarded. I've been around for so long that practically everyone knows who I am. And I receive a lot of love, because that's basically what I am. I'm just being me, trying to be a decent person. I try to give what I want to get, including honesty. Okay? So, there's nothing wrong with saying something that I think. Of course, it's a big world and someone likely might not like it, but so what? There's no malice in my intent. That's what's important. It's one of the things I try to keep getting across to folks that can really come across as hard-headed. It's like, it's the intent of your actions and your words. None of us are perfect. But if all I'm doing is operating out of the sphere of me with no intent of hurt, and I say something that someone else doesn't like, well, that's just too fucking bad. But again, the intent is important. And let me tell you, there's a real big difference of intent between myself and a lot of people that call themselves politicians. Pay attention. Okay, let me know what's going on, people. I'll leave the link to the podcast so you can hear the whole thing if you want to.